This is Monkey World in Dorset, the largest ape and monkey rescue centre on the planet. Today on Monkey Life, geriatric stump-tailed macaque Coco is getting too old to groom herself.
We just give her coat a quick brush just to get any mucky bits out.
Whereas Jonathan has nothing left to groom.
He doesn't have a lot of hair left. Others started over-grooming him and pulling his hair out.
Chimp Jester gets more than his fair share of the bachelor boys' walnuts. And the team find out if they've stopped a skin infection outbreak in Hernanya's chimp house.
Anything that's spreading throughout the group is always cause for major concern for us.
Monkey World Ape Rescue Centre is home to 11 ex-laboratory stump-tailed macaques. They're affectionately known as the ugly monkeys. 22-year-old Coco and 21-year-old Jonathan have been enjoying life at the park for a few years now, and they're beginning to feel their age. Coco has difficulties cleaning her skin and grooming herself, whereas Jonathan, on the other hand, is going bald through over-grooming. So it's up to the primate care staff to keep the pair in tip-top condition. And first up this morning is Jonathan. His baldness makes him sensitive to the sun, which means that he needs a special skin treatment.
Every morning we have to get him up and spray him with some sun cream, just like you would with a person. We'll try and get sort of the top of his back because that would be, you know, the part that's sort of exposed to the sun as well. But he's very good. He's sort of used to the routine now because he gets it done every morning.
Jonathan's hair loss is thanks to over-enthusiastic grooming from the high-ranking members of the troop, who just won't leave him alone.
Others started sort of over-grooming him and just sort of pulling his hair out rather than grooming sort of gently, but because he's low-ranking, he wouldn't sort of want to turn around to them and be aggressive and sort of say, no, that hurts, so he doesn't have a lot of hair left.
Jonathan's been having his daily treatment for 4 years, and it's proved to be a success. The lotion has stopped him from burning, and the team have the perfect way of persuading him to cooperate.
We give him a banana as a reward, so he gets clicked and treated, so he knows once the sun cream goes on, if he gets clicked for that, then that's the correct behaviour that we want, and then he'll get the reward of a banana, which is one of their absolute favourites, so it's quite a pleasant experience for him as well.
With his sunscreen on, Jonathan joins the others, safe in the sunshine, to search out his breakfast. But the geriatric's pampering session doesn't end here. Next door, Coco is eagerly awaiting her wash and brush up too. Later, Coco takes a laid-back approach to her makeover grooming session.
We just wipe her over with an antibacterial skin cleanser, and then we rub some baby nappy rash cream into her.
Chimp Ben's infected foot is on the mend.
The infection has really gone, so it's just a case of the new skin and tissue growing back.
But are the rest of the group out of danger? At the Chimp Bachelor Boy enclosure, everybody's out in force because it's treat time. And today, they're getting walnuts. Paco decides to throw his weight around as a reminder to the group that he and the other high rankers should get the first pickings. But while he's making a big display of himself, Jester moves in and tries to grab all the food. Chimps are naturally greedy, and they don't come much greedier than Jester. Whatever's on offer, he usually manages to get more than his fair share. And it's the same today. Usually, the chimps munch through exciting, whole, juicy melons and giant fruity freezes as treats between meals. But they're just as enthusiastic about these tiny little walnuts. And despite the nut's tough outer shell, chimps have a much larger muscular jaw than a human, so they make light work of cracking them open with their teeth. As usual, it's the low rankers who have to wait until last to get their hands on the treats. In this case, Seamus and old boy Charlie. Seamus is still wary of the big guys at mealtimes and doesn't risk joining in. Whereas Charlie is just Charlie. He's not the sharpest tool in the box. And when begging doesn't work, he just hangs back. Then the inevitable happens. With just a few nuts left, the boys start to squabble over them. Which means that Charlie can simply step in and grab one at last. Unfortunately, Charlie's only got 3 teeth. So even though he's waited patiently to get his hands on the nuts, it's going to be a little while longer before he gets to enjoy his treat. Down at Hananya's chimp house, primate care supervisor Cara is keeping a close eye on 7-year-old Ben. Recently, Ben had a very nasty infection, which sadly resulted in him losing a toe.
Come on, Benny boy.
But now, a week later, things are starting to look better.
Really now the infection has really gone, so it's just a case of the new skin and tissue growing back. But I think it will be several weeks before the foot actually looks in any way normal. You can still see a lot of the red tissue where it's healing, but we're definitely out of the danger period, and we're happy with his progress.
You all right with that?
When Ben's infection was first spotted, the team had to work quickly to find the correct antibiotics to treat him. But while the team were waiting for the test results from the lab, the bacteria spread. Other members of the troop started to show signs of similar skin infections. While most of the infections caused extremely nasty-looking sores, 11-year-old Honey had a severe reaction to the bacteria. Her tongue swelled so much that she couldn't eat or drink, and Honey could have died from dehydration. The team had to act fast. They gave her fluids and treated her with strong antibiotics and anti-inflammatories to reduce the swelling.
A tiny bit, maybe.
And now, she too seems to be on the mend.
Honey is looking much better now, so I'm really happy about that. She can close her mouth again, she can drink, she can eat.
Good, Honey.
You're such a good girl.
You are a good girl.
When Honey opens her mouth, you can still see some pussy bits on there, actually. The infection hasn't gone down completely yet. I mean, there's still some of it to be resolved, but she's still on antibiotics, and it will probably disappear within a few days, I think.
All the chimps have now been treated, but it leaves some serious questions as to why some of Hananya's troop fell ill in the first place.
This situation that we've just had in Hananya's house for the past couple of weeks is extremely unique. It was effectively the perfect storm scenario. We've got an introduction of 2 new arrivals from the nursery group. The whole group has been split in sort of half, and there's stress and introductions going on. Everybody's emotions have been up and down, and lo and behold, the individuals that are quite low ranking, at the bottom of the heap, therefore subjected to the most stress in their life, start picking up these infections that normally their bodies should just be able to deal with. So it seems like a huge nightmare, panic, oh my gosh, what's happening in Hananya's house? But really, if you step back and look at it, what you see is actually 2 or 3 individuals who are suffering from skin infections, basically, due to normal, run-of-the-mill bacteria that you and I encounter on a daily basis.
It's been a worrying time, and the team have taken the bacterial breakout very seriously, as it could have easily been a lot worse.
Anything that's spreading throughout the group is always cause for major concern for us, to make sure we get it under control and keep it isolated, because we have pregnant individuals out there, we have babies out there, and they're very susceptible. So it was a big concern what was happening in Hananya's house, but I think now, touch a lot of wood, we've got everything under control. Everybody's on the appropriate antibiotics, and everybody's wounds are healing up nicely now.
At Monkey World in Dorset, the keepers have to tend to the needs of everyone, from newborns to OAPs.
What's all that about?
Today, it's the geriatric stump-tailed macaques who are getting an MOT. Old age is getting the better of 22-year-old Coco, and she struggles to clean herself.
Coco.
So the staff are on hand to help, with a regular bath and brush-up to get her back to her best.
Basically, we just wipe her over with an antibacterial sort of skin cleanser. Then we dry her off, make sure she's thoroughly dry, give her coat a quick brush just to get any sort of dry skin or mucky bits out. And then we rub some sort of baby nappy rash cream into her, and particularly onto any sores on her skin, just to help them heal up and keep her skin nice and soft for her.
These regular washes might seem like luxury, but they're really an important way of preventing Coco from picking up skin infections.
She seems to quite enjoy it. She's getting quite good. She sort of gets herself into position, sort of ready for you to pick her up. She has a little squeal when you pick her up, but once she's sort of in position and lying down, she's generally quite happy and contented. And she knows that when we're finished, she always gets a nice reward, whether it's grapes or bananas, something sort of that she doesn't usually get as a treat for sort of being well behaved.
Coco arrived at the park 2 years ago after being rescued from a pet shop in Budapest, where she lived in the same cage for 20 years. Once she arrived at the park, the first challenge was to change her diet, as she was extremely overweight.
Coco has been on quite a strict diet since she arrived here. She has successfully lost quite a lot of weight, so really pleased with her. Obviously, this has a big impact on her, the way that she moves around the enclosure, and also how she interacts with the other monkeys that are in here as well. She generally just seems a lot more happier. It means that she can come outside, explore her enclosure a lot more, and do more of what she wants to do and what you'd see her doing in the wild, really.
Right from the start, Coco formed a strong bond with animal director Jeremy. So he was able to gain her trust and start treating a skin disorder caused by years of neglect.
As sure as I can be that she actually likes the sensation of being groomed and brushed and washed, just by the fact that she is so cooperative. In fact, very often she'll go to sleep in like bliss as I'm brushing her hair. And
primates normally groom themselves and others regularly to keep their coats in a good condition. But Coco struggles to look after herself, so the staff are on hand to comb her coat for her.
Basically, because she sort of sits around quite a lot, we found that her fur gets quite wet. And it's just really important that, because the other boys in the group don't tend to groom her very often, we just like to give it a quick brush to get any mats out, any dirt that might be in there. Obviously, it's really important that her coat does stay in a good condition. Otherwise, it become matted. She gets sort of flies in it and things like that. Just generally not very nice. So it's nice to keep it nicely brushed, nicely clean, so that she just remains really healthy, really.
You ready?
With a new hairdo and her morning beauty regime complete, it's just left to Toby to treat her to some juicy grapes. Later, there's some sad news about one of the park's best-loved residents, Capuchin Tom.
A lot of the times you think it's just the bigger guys that we get so emotionally attached to, but it's not. Every individual here matters just as much.
Over at Paddy's chimp troop, it's their turn to get all excited about walnuts. And as always, it's the high-ranking chimps who are first to tuck in. At the bottom of the pecking order in this troop is little Eddie. Life has changed a lot for Eddie recently, and not necessarily for the better. Try as she might, she's finding it increasingly difficult to get what she thinks is her fair share of anything. As a baby, she enjoyed a high status within the troop and made the most of her position, getting everything she wanted when she wanted. And if she didn't get her own way, she'd have a temper tantrum, which generally worked. But now that she's 7 years old, she's not a baby anymore. And what's even more annoying is that her baby brother Bart is now higher up the pecking order than her. And he's got a walnut, even if he doesn't know what to do with it. But Eddie is nothing if not determined. If she keeps on trying, she's bound to get one eventually. And finally, she does. This little princess may have lost her crown for now, but she's a resilient little chimp, and it's all just part of growing up. It's been a difficult day at the Capuchin Lodge, as there's been some sad news about one of the park's most lovable residents, Tom.
Yeah, one of the biggest characters here at the park sadly has passed away, and it was really unexpected. We didn't see it coming.
Although Tom was fairly old, he had been relatively healthy.
Within the last sort of 12 to 24 hours, all he had was a little bit of a runny nose, and then all of a sudden he lays down and isn't responsive. So immediately took a blood sample, rushed it off, and it came back that his kidneys weren't functioning, like at all. That meant that his kidneys weren't filtering out all of the toxins from his bloodstream, which is what your kidneys normally do. You know, I suppose, luckily for Tom, in this case, it sort of, you know, happened in a short period of time, and he just lapsed into a coma and went. So it was a peaceful end, albeit unexpected and very hard for all of us here.
Tom lived at the park for 7 years, but nobody was quite sure how old he was, as his background was a bit mysterious.
Tom came in with his mate Jerry, and they were actually taken from a gypsy camp. And at that point in time, we didn't know anything about their background other than a bit of rumor and innuendo. And I was told that Tom and Jerry lived on a diet of burgers and Coke.
At the park, Tom settled in well and quickly became the boss of the other rescued Capuchin monkeys.
He took on all of these old boys, you know, Peppy, and spent time letting Peppy groom him and grooming Peppy and sort of looking after TJ, and he was always really lovely. And of course, Terry was besotted by him and used to hover around him like a butterfly, you know, flashing her eyelashes at him.
Life changed for Tom when the park rescued the 88 Capuchins from Chile. The team were concerned that he might have a battle for top spot.
When those guys came in and we separated Tom and put him in with the rest of the Capuchins, he didn't want to be boss. He wanted to put his feet up and have a retirement. And he handed the reins over to Gorillon, the new dominant male in the Capuchins, and Tom never looked back. He just started playing, grooming, and his favorite activity, eating.
There's no denying it. Tom will be remembered for his love of food. But his heart was just as big as his appetite.
Hello, Tom. Are you gonna come all the way down, or are you gonna stay there? Oh.
Tom was one of the biggest characters here at the park, and that's because of both his stature and his heart. I mean, he was just loved people, and he loved seeing us every day. And when you walk past, you get all of the, you know, he would get so excited, he'd just grab himself and sort of tilt from side to side. And, you know, Tom had it pretty good, actually. He was a gentle leader, and he looked after everybody, and he loved all of his keepers here at the park and all of us who, you know, were sort of putting our all into making his life a good one.
It's been a busy year for the Capuchin team, with many new arrivals to look after. But the loss of Tom is upsetting for all those who knew him and cared for him.
A lot of the times you think it's just, you know, the bigger guys, the apes or something that we get so emotionally attached to, but it's not. Every individual here matters just as much, and Tom was a big character to lose, and we'll miss him a lot.
Next time, orangutan youngster Kai gives Amy the runaround. There's a surprise delivery for the woolly monkeys. But is history going to repeat itself for the new mum?
I just don't know what it is with Kuna at this point. I'm really disappointed.
And the nursery chimps have a ball with a colourful play session. This is Monkey World in Dorset, the largest ape and monkey rescue centre on the planet. Today on Monkey Life, disturbing footage reveals the park's next rescue mission.
I've just been sent a link today of this film clip. What's clearly the chimp attacking a man in the streets.
The nursery chimps have a ball with a colourful play session. And there's a surprise delivery for the woolly monkeys. But is history going to repeat itself for new mum Kuna?
I just don't know what it is with Kuna at this point. I'm really disappointed.
This morning, the chimp nursery pond has been filled with toy balls for the youngsters to play with. But a pond full of brightly coloured plastic balls instead of water is a little bit scary. So toddlers, Rodders and Ash decide that the safest thing to do is climb up high as far away from the terrifying balls as possible. And they're not the only ones who are keeping safe. It takes 20-year-old Sally to work it out. She's been at the park long enough to know that these balls are bound to be tasty treats. Well, they're not that tasty, but if they keep trying, there's sure to be a good one in here somewhere. Rodders and Lulu follow Sally's lead, and they decide that the red ones are most likely to be the tastiest. But Brian's not convinced. It's in a chimp's nature to be curious, and Ash seems to be investigating the possibilities for play. But will any of the chimps be brave enough to actually enter the scary play pit? Coming up, the baby chimps show that they do actually have the balls. And we catch up with one of the park's most well-loved characters, Charlie. Monkey World is home to over 55 rescued chimpanzees, and it's always ready to save more. Over in the office, Alison is watching some disturbing footage from Mexico. Alison believes it's an adult female chimpanzee called Coco. Monkey World has been trying to rescue her for 5 years now.
I've just been sent a link today from one of my primate care staff of this film clip. What's clearly Coco. Coco the chimp attacking a man in the streets.
Coco is one of many chimps around the world being used for the tourist industry. They're forced to work as photographers' props and have been known to suffer cruelly at the hands of their owners. 2 years ago, Alison and her late husband Jim went to Mexico to rescue Coco and another chimp called Brian. They successfully brought Brian back to Monkey World, but Coco wasn't so lucky. Jim and Alison spent days trying to track her down in Mexico, searching tourist areas where she was likely to be working.
We've been going through the shopping centers, the beaches, in the midday sun, doing exactly what Coco does, and I can tell you right now, it's hard, hot work, but finally, at the end of today, we had a tip-off.
Despite tip-offs, Coco was nowhere to be found, and Alison was very concerned. At over 20 years old, Coco may have suffered for years, and there's no telling how this may have affected her.
For Coco, it's all very dangerous and on a knife edge. The trainer, owner, photographer isn't controlling her. He's getting bloody noses. She's attacking people in the street and then being given ice cream. It's a disaster waiting to happen, and we need to try and stop that disaster before it happens to Coco.
It's actually very difficult to confiscate a chimpanzee in trouble unless there's proof that they were smuggled from the wild or are being worked. Now this new video has come to light, Alison finally has the evidence she needs to take action.
For us, it means we really need to step things up. We need to get back to the Mexican authorities now, make sure they're ready to go, and Monkey World will be straight across there with relevant boxes and veterinarians to sort Coco out ASAP.
Hopefully, Coco will soon be en route to Monkey World, where she can enjoy a happy and healthy retirement. Coco's new home will be in the chimp nursery. It's usually home to the babies, but it's also the place where newly rescued and vulnerable adult chimps have lived and learned to become chimps again. And it'll be up to this gang to ensure Coco has a gentle introduction to chimp life and lots of fun. Today, it looks like the youngsters have overcome their fear of the pond full of the plastic toys, and they're having a ball. Playtime is just as vital for young chimps as it is for human kids. And for Brian, an important part of playtime is making a mess. It's good to see him relaxed and enjoying life. When he first arrived, he had a hard time settling in. But not anymore. Chimps have bundles of energy, and both Rodders and Ash need no excuses to show off their playful side. They're all having such a great time that even Lulu's decided to join in the fun. But Sally still thinks she knows better. There's bound to be some food in here somewhere. Isn't there? And just in case she's right, Brian's in position to scrounge some off her. But there are 3,000 balls in the pond, and none of them seem to taste any better than the last, or have anything inside. So Sally's trying a different strategy. If the balls themselves aren't a tasty treat, surely there's got to be something delicious hiding underneath them. Over with the bachelor boys, it's also playtime. And it doesn't matter how big and boisterous they are, they still love messing around. Two of the boys, Charlie and Freddy usually keep themselves to themselves, but today they're happy to join in the fun and games. And Freddy's particularly keen to let his hair down now that he's recovered from a rather personal problem. A week ago, Freddy had an operation to treat his hemorrhoids, and so far, so good.
He's actually done really well. He hasn't been playing with it or fiddling. He doesn't seem to have had any discomfort, and we haven't seen any more blood. So fingers crossed that's done the trick.
Freddy had cutting-edge surgery, which located the blood supply to each of the swellings in his bottom. This blood supply was then cut off to make Freddy feel a lot more comfortable. Freddy definitely looks more perky. But as it's early days, the keepers still need to check up on him.
It really is now just a case of keeping an eye on Fred, checking every day, making sure that the stitches are holding, we're not seeing any blood, also that he's not straining too much when he's trying to pass feces, anything like that. But as of yet, we haven't had any problems, so we're fairly hopeful.
And Freddy has a good ally in Spanish Charlie, who himself has had a catalogue of challenges. He's one of the park's most lovable characters. When he was rescued, the abuse he had suffered was one of the worst the park had ever seen. He was a drug addict with cataracts, a broken jaw, and only a few teeth left. His physical and psychological scars made it difficult to find him the perfect group to live with. His displays at passing tanks from the nearby army barracks would upset one group. He was ousted from another. And then he moved into the nursery, but eventually became too boisterous for the youngsters. But it's the bachelor group where Charlie seems happiest. He's lived here for 6 years now, and although he's never really been the most sociable character, every now and then he feels secure enough to join in with the antics of the other chimps. And it looks as though today's the day for him and Freddy to let it all hang out. Despite all of the traumas Freddy and Charlie have been through, they seem to have found a haven in the bachelor group, and hopefully they'll be living there for many years to come. It's early morning at Monkey World. And down at the orangutan enclosure, the youngest and liveliest orang in the park, Kai, is happily playing by himself. But he's just been joined by one of the older and least lively orangs in the park, 25-year-old Amy. A few weeks ago, Amy gave birth, but her infant didn't survive. Like humans, orangs can suffer from postnatal depression, and since the birth, Amy's been keeping herself to herself. Until now. The only problem is, Kai's quite independent now, and he wants to do things on his own. But Amy doesn't want to stop his games, she just wants to play. This is quite a surprise because orangs are not renowned for being overly active, especially Amy. But today, she's definitely in the mood for some fun. Unfortunately, Kai's already having fun without her, and he wants to keep it that way. It's a good sign to see Amy interested in playing with the youngster, because despite her difficult mothering experiences in the past, it may mean that she'll be a more successful mum the next time. The question is, will Kai relent and let Amy join in with his game? The answer is no. Kai's off to find something else to do, and Amy's left wondering where she went wrong. Next door in the woolly monkey enclosure, park director Alison is checking up on another independent youngster. 2-year-old Julio.
Julio's no longer a little boy. I mean, in every way, shape, and form. His, sort of size, he's growing up. He's getting a really big, thick tail, and his head's starting to broaden. And, behaviorally the other day, I've come up this high because the other day, he wouldn't even come down to see me. He was in the tops of the trees and really lovely to see, sort of moving through the trees like you see in the wild, sort of holding on with his tail and legs to one side and then leaning across and grabbing the branches and walking through the tops of the trees like a spider. So it was really lovely to see because even the other adults that we have here in this group, Lavar and Bronco, they don't even do it so well. So Julio's really sort of fallen into his own in terms of moving around the enclosure. Still very interested in people, but at the same time, he's a really happy, functioning member of the group, and now just flying through the tops of the trees. So we're really pleased for him. He's come on leaps and bounds.
Alison cared for him when he was rejected by his mother, Kuna.
He wasn't caring for the baby, so I think it's going to be our job now.
Julio's been living with his woolly family for over a year now. He was pretty confident moving around the bedroom, but when he first went outside, he was very nervous. In the wild, babies get guidance on how to climb and move around by learning from their mothers. So, being hand-reared, Julio had a little bit more work to do. But now he's learnt for himself, this confident little woolly monkey takes it all in his stride.
It only goes to show, if you can rear them properly and get them back into their own society, a woolly monkey society at a young enough age, all of the physical behavior and sort of adaptation to living with woolly monkeys, it's all innate, it's all in there. You just have to get them back into the group at a young enough age. So, proud of my little boy. It's going well, really pleased.
A year after Julio was born, his mum Kuna gave birth again to Paolo. He was also rejected and hand-reared by the keepers, but now at 9 months old, he lives with his woolly family full-time and is flourishing too. And later, the boys have a new baby brother, but it seems Kuna's mothering skills have not improved.
This baby was born more than 24 hours ago, and we don't believe that he's actually suckled at all.
Like the chimp nursery, today's treats in Hananya's group are pond-related. But they're not getting coloured plastic balls, they're getting fruits and seeds in the water. The fruit floating on the top shouldn't pose too much of a problem for the chimps, but the seeds have sunk to the bottom, which means there's only one thing for it. Peggy needs to get wet. In the wild, chimps are naturally wary of water and they can't swim, but they will attempt to cross water if there's food at stake. And here at Monkey World, it's no different, so Peggy is definitely a rarity. A chimp that seems to like the water, or at least she likes getting treats in the water more than she minds getting wet. Simon, meanwhile, is behaving in a much more chimp-like manner. He's definitely interested in those seeds, but he's trying to work out the driest way to get them. Spurred on by Peggy's example, Tootie wades right in. It seems that Peggy's not the only one who doesn't mind getting wet. When Tootie lived next door in the nursery, she loved splashing around. And she still loves the water. Simon decides to take the plunge and risk getting a wet arm. Chimps aren't good at sharing, and he can see the fruit and seeds are disappearing fast. But it's just not for him. And now that there aren't that many seeds left in the pond, Tootie's decided that she doesn't love the water that much either. Peggy doesn't give up that easily. But even she's decided that it might be worth keeping one limb dry. It's been a good year for the woolly monkey breeding programme at the park, with 3 babies born to 3 mums. And this morning, there's been another rather unexpected addition to the troupe. Kuna has given birth to a baby boy, but staff were concerned for his welfare as Kuna has failed to look after 2 of her previous offspring. So they've decided to step in and rear him by hand.
We've only just taken him from his mum, and we now need to make sure that he's fit and healthy. He's still got the umbilical cord. No, let go of that. He's pulling on his own cord. He's got his foot wrapped around the cord. That might hurt, little man. Don't, ouch. No, don't do that. That's why you're yelping. Let go of that. You can see the cord already. It's a bit of a nightmare. It's a very hard, stiff thing now that's left behind. It's, you know, sort of very tempting to consider sort of giving it a wee bit of help along the way, but really you're best off just to simply let it fall off naturally. There you go.
When he was born, the primate care staff waited anxiously to see if he would suckle from Kuna. But the signs weren't good.
I just don't know what it is with Kuna at this point. I'm really disappointed. First Julio, then Paolo came along. He's clearly not suckling. We have to take him too. I don't know what it is that Kuna does that means she's got babies that don't latch onto her nipples and feed, because clearly they're fit, healthy, and hungry. This little man's hungry now.
To begin with, it's important that the baby is rehydrated with water.
I know, he says, where's the real food? He's not terribly dehydrated at the moment, but he is a wee bit dehydrated because that skin peak, you know, when you pinch your own arm, it snaps back into place. His skin isn't snapping. It means that he's dehydrated. This is a really tricky time because he's yelling, he's a bit wriggly, and the biggest concern right now is just even 1 drop of this fluid. If he inhales it, it goes straight down into his lungs and he can get pneumonia. So we're being very, very cautious to make sure that this first feed goes in just drop by drop, and ideally when he's not yelling.
Because Kuna's other babies had to be hand-reared, the park gave her the contraceptive pill to give her a break from pregnancy. But just like with humans, sometimes the pill doesn't work.
We hadn't actually planned for her to give birth yet. It wasn't that I was intending for her never to get pregnant again, because with Paquita in that very same group, having just given birth and caring for her baby perfectly, we were hoping that Kuna had picked up a few tips and was actually going to be a better mum this time.
Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be, and the staff are always prepared to step in when there's a primate in need.
Everything changes at the park. You know, life sadly comes to an end now and again here, and then you get reminded very rapidly that new lives begin as well. And whether that's us going out and rescuing individuals and letting them start their life again here at the park as they should, or whether it's little guys that are born here and just need our help and attention to get started in life, to get the best start in life. That's what we're here for.
Monkey World's mission is that every individual matters, so whether the park welcomes newborns or rescued primates, they all have a home here for the rest of their lives.